Hey everybody. This time on How to Draw Cool Hot Rods for Kids, we are going to learn how to draw chrome. So in order to draw chrome, you need a few things. And this is just my version of that. First, I like to use a Sharpie to do my outlining, black color pencil or crayon, a gray color pencil or a crayon, white color pencil, a light blue color pencil or crayon, brown, and these are just two added things you don't have to use, but I like to use them. This is just a really fine point marker. And this one is like one of those jelly pins, and it's in white. And I use that to do little things like these little shiny kind of starburst looking things. And this is kind of like a cartoon version of chrome. So these are the tools that I use. So let's get started. So the first thing I like to do is figure out what I'm going to draw in chrome. Now you can use it all over cars and hot rods and stuff. Use it on engines, use it on exhaust pipes, use it on bumpers, use it everywhere. I also like to do it on lettering, like this. I'll do some letters and then I'll make the letters look like chrome. And this is a bumper I drew up beforehand for a sample. So I think we're going to stick with the bumper look, and I'll show you how I do that. So the first thing is I draw out basically a long skinny rectangle, leave the ends open, and just do a half moon shape on either end. And that gives us a kind of a bumper kind of outline. And in the middle of the bumper is usually where you put your license plate. So you can make a nice straight rectangle there, not all the way to the top, because most bumpers, the license plate kind of sits in the lower portion. Now, with my other pen, my fine marking pen, I'm going to do where the rivets would be, or the bolts, to hold the bumper on. And those I do a little almost complete circle right down the middle on this end, close to the license plate, and on this end over here. It kind of is supposed to look like as if there was a shadow, because the way that bolt heads look, they're really round. And so this kind of represents a shadow. Like pretend your sun is up here somewhere. And the sun is shining down, and when something's round like a bumper, it's always going to be darker on the bottom and lighter on the top. Okay, so now we have our main image here. And what I like to do is I like to start at the top with my blue. And you could do lots of different ways. You can do it freehand and just draw a line across the top. I like to do that. But once in a while, I like to get out a straight edge. And don't go all the way to the top. Leave a little bit of white space up there. And take with your blue pencil or crayon, draw a nice dark line right at the top like that. I know it's kind of hard to see in the picture, but this is going to give you an edge to color off of, because now what you're going to do is you're going to start at this edge and you're going to work your way down the bumper and get lighter and lighter and lighter as you go. So something, make it kind of dark, and then I'll ease up on my pressure, but I'm still going downward as I'm coloring. I'm just getting a little lighter, and I go around the little bolt heads, getting a little lighter. Right about to the middle is where I want to stop. And do that all the way across. And it doesn't have to be even, because chrome isn't perfect, and there's lots of things in the way. There's clouds, who knows what, to make it so it's not totally even in the blue. It actually makes it more of a realistic looking if you don't do it exactly the same all the way across. So I always push a little harder at first and then slowly let up on the pressure as I come down at the same time. Okay, now we're going to use our blending tool, and our blending tool we have with us at all times. It's our pointer finger. Our skin naturally has oils in it, and so if you take and you rub your finger on the blue lengthwise, it kind of blends it together. It makes, see, this side looks a lot smoother than this side does. At least to me anyways, but this area is smoothed out. This area is still kind of rough where the blue hasn't gotten into the paper. And you're just blending it all together. Make it a little smoother. All right, so that's the top half of our bumper. The next color I like to do is the brown, and this is going to start at the bottom and work my way up. Again, I can use a straight edge. Now, if I use the straight edge this way, I can't see where my black line is here to represent the bottom of the bumper. See how it disappears? So this time what I have to do is slide this up. Now I can see my line, and I know about how far, about the same distance from here to here as I want to do from down here as well. You just take your brown, do a nice little line across the bottom, and then the same thing you did down up here, you do down here. You start kind of dark and just slowly ease up the pressure and go lightly. And you can use whatever color brown. It doesn't have to be this color brown. This is just one I happen to have on the top of the stack of the pencils in the brown section. This actually represents the ground. See, chrome, all it is a reflection of what you see, or what you're standing next to. Because chrome is basically just a silver kind of color by itself. But because it's kind of got a mirror finish to it, it picks up the reflection of whatever it's next to. So let's just say this one is out in the desert somewhere or in a park or something, and it's sitting next to some ground somewhere, some dirt, trees, whatever, and I'm going to blend this in also with my finger just to make it a little smoother. And it doesn't have to be perfect at all. This is just really rough because realistically it's already starting to look kind of chromish. It has that appearance already. The next step we're going to do is we're going to use our black, take our straight edge, and we're going to put it right through the middle of our bolt heads. And we're going to draw another line, little line here, both sides, something like that. Now this represents at the point where the sky and the ground meet. So it's like the skyline. And in the skyline you can do tree shapes, you can do building shapes, you can do mountain shapes. I like to do mountains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here in the middle, not very high up, maybe somewhere like this, and I'm going to do a triangle basically. And I want all this to be pretty dark. Okay, and then I'll do another triangle next to it, a smaller one, but I'll overlap just a little bit. And I'll keep doing that all along here. Maybe a really small one, then maybe another big one. And I stay away from the bolt heads for now. And your shapes, your triangles can be long and skinny. Like let's make this one really long. The next one could be really sharp and short, because mountains aren't all the same, right? You could have an area where there isn't any mountains, like right here, and then there's a little one, another big one. There. That's pretty much our basic layout. This kind of has like the Bonneville salt flats kind of look. If you ever drive out to Bonneville in Utah, there's an area where it's just nothing but salt flats, and then there's some mountain range way off in the back in the distance that you can barely see. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Okay, so now that we've got that, I also want to take my black and I want to come back down here to the brown, because remember, this bumper is round, so it's going to be dark on the bottom and it's going to get lighter as it comes out this way. So I'm going to come back down here to the bottom. I want to make just some more really rough kind of coloring, kind of fast, and not meant to be perfect or anything specific. And then I want to fade that up a little bit in different areas. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit there. Kind of represents the ground not being perfect. Like maybe there's some shadows here and there. Something like that, I think. And then the same thing with the very top where the blue is. Just a teeny tiny little bit of black, because it's round. It's fading off in the distance. We want to make it look like it gets further away from us. I'm not pushing very hard at all, just enough to add some darkness to the top. And in this area is left for your license plate. So depending on where you live, what state you live, you can put your state in there. So I'm from California. I currently live in Utah, but I'm from California. I was born there, so I'm going to make mine a California plate. So I'm just going to put like California in some kind of script. It's really small, so it's not, you don't have to spend a whole lot of time making that look perfect. And add some detail. I know that there's a sticker that goes right here that has the date on it. So like 2020. And then I can make up anything in here. Normally there's a number that goes in there, but I can make it up. I could say nice straight letters, block letters, Mr. D 55. What that means is my friend Will called me Mr. D because my name's Dustin and I own a 55 Chevy, so I put a 55 in there. Just something personal, kind of for fun. And then typically the California plates are yellow. So what I would do is I would grab a yellow crayon or pencil or whatever you have, and then you would just kind of color that yellow color. This is a kind of a greenish yellow, but that's what I would do. Let's color it yellow. Here's a pen. Let's do that marker that's more yellow. It kind of looks like a license plate. You can even go over with a Sharpie or something, make it thicker and bolder if you want. Whatever you need, it's all just for fun. Okay, so now we have most of our bumper done. Remember, we have these little bolt heads in there. So they also need some color, but they need it separate because these guys stick out away from the bumper too. So you're going to start with the blue, just like you did up here. Just do a teeny bit at the very top of each one. Okay, go back to our brown. Teeny little bit of brown at the bottom. And then back to our black down the middle, just like those mountains. There we go. That looks pretty good, pretty close to what I'm imagining. The last thing would be is when we use our gray and our white and this color. Okay, so the gray would be is if you were parked, let's say you're parked at a park, so you see all these colors, but then you're really close to a curb or something like that, or asphalt. This is where you take your gray in, and you're going to put that gray in this little white space down here. So now it kind of looks like there's a reflection of what's below on the bottom of that. The white is also to blend things together if you want. Like, let's say I want a little bit lighter in here. I could take my white in there, start kind of hard and smooth your way out. It's a very subtle change, but it does blend in really good there. And I could do that across this whole thing if I want, but I like it to have variation. And you can even use it to lighten it up here. Let's say I did it too dark. I'm like, oh, I don't really like it that dark. You can take your white and you can go right on top of that. And it makes it even lighter color blue. Or if you want a cloud in it, maybe do some circles. And this probably isn't showing up too well in the video, but these are little details to make it look real. Now I think I've lightened it a little too much. I'll go back with my blue and maybe I'll just do a teeny bit at the top again. Maybe right in here where these clouds are. Kind of brings the clouds in, makes it a little more visible. All right. Now the last thing I use is my white gel pen. Not everybody has these. They're kind of expensive. They're a couple dollars a piece. But what they do is they give you this detail you're looking for to make things look shiny and white in certain places. Like I want to add a little extra shine once I've colored this now in my bolt head. So I could start in the corner and put a shiny spot right there. Like there's this little special reflection that happens on chrome parts. Just little details. And then maybe I want to make the cloud show up a lot better. I can use this white gel pen too. It almost looks like an eraser, like you're erasing it. And then let's say there's some imperfections in the ground and I want to do a little bit of white just here and there. You know, maybe there's something white behind it. Maybe there's a little bit of white on this mountain. Maybe there's a little bit of snow on the top. And this gel pen works really good for putting it over the top of things. It's kind of it's like a liquid paint, ink, I don't know, but it shows up really well, so it's really fun to work with. All right, that's pretty much it for our chrome bumper. And I'll zoom in and you can see how the mountains look with a little bit of snow caps on there. And I just make it rough. I just make these weird little squiggly lines and stuff, and that's what adds the detail in there. It's so small, nobody's going to tell if that's not really truly real, but it has that cool effect that you're looking for. Well, I think that's it for today. learning how to draw chrome, you can make this work on anything else, any shape. Just a quick little thing, like just keep in mind, you can apply this to anything else out there. Let's say you wanted to do a ball. Start with a circle, and just remember, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to come up to the top and you're going to do the blue fading down, getting lighter. Okay. Then you'll do the brown at the bottom, getting lighter as you go up. And then you'll do some sort of whatever mountain range or something. Now, if you want it to look like a sphere, you have to do it curving it. So my mountain range normally, where we did our straight line across here, we'll do a curving line instead. And then we'll make our mountain shapes. And then we'll go in with our black on the bottom. This time, because it's curved and I want to stay with that curve, when I drew my bottom section, I'll kind of make it go follow the contour of whatever I've drawn. I go back and forth all the time, and I'll get my brown back out. Kind of add a little bit in there. Go back with my blue. This time I'll do a curve with my blue. A little bit of white. Maybe add some gray in. You don't have to use these colors. These are just colors I choose to use. Because you're essentially just making it look like the ground. Maybe I want to be a lot more blue up here. Really exaggerate it. Something like that kind of thing. So you can make it out of anything. So you can apply that to lettering. If you're doing lettering, you can do bumpers, you can do anything you could think of, you can make it look like chrome. That's really fun. Thanks for hanging out with me today and drawing, and hope to see you soon. Bye.